The movie starts with a boy named Mark who is with his friends at night. They break into a house to swim in the pool there. Later, Mark tries to kiss his girlfriend, but she pushes him away. So Mark stays at home and watches adult videos instead. The next morning, Mark's mother Bella wakes him up and tells him that his great-uncle Fima and his fiancée Zina are coming to visit. Bella asks Mark's father, Roman, to bring a small cake and eggs since they are running out of eggs. Mark helps his mother set up the garden. Fima and Zina arrive and are welcomed by Mark's family. Zina talks about her travels and says she hasn't met anyone as sophisticated as Fima, even in Moscow where she is from. Fima's brother mentions that many hard-working people in history were Jewish and lists famous Jewish individuals. Mark and his cousin make fun of Zina outside because they find her strange. Bella overhears them and tells them that although Zina can be harsh, she is a good woman for accepting someone who is 55 years old. Bella also mentions that Zina has a daughter, and they should be grateful that she is marrying their uncle. In their society, women who don't have children by the age of 40 are seen as useless. The next day, Zina returns to Canada with her daughter Natasha. Zina introduces Natasha to Mark's family, and Bella introduces Natasha to Mark. On the way back, Fima's mother realizes that Natasha's father is not Jewish and they should be cautious about it. Bella praises Natasha and calls her a good girl. Later, Mark meets his friend Rufus, who gives him drugs to smuggle. Mark agrees because he is underage and believes the police won't suspect him. Mark delivers the packages and then returns to his family. Roman looks at his son and asks if he is trying to find a job for the summer. Mark replies that he is trying, but Bella informs him that his uncle Gina has arranged a job for him at a telemarketing call center. Mark is unhappy with this idea. The movie continues with Fima and Zina's wedding. After the wedding, there is a family gathering to celebrate and welcome the newly married couple. Bella's father gives a toast in honor of Fima, praising him as a good man and wishing the couple a happy life together. Jana gets a call and goes to see her friend Alessa. Bella asks Mark to take Natasha with him and show her around the house. Mark guides Natasha, shows her the kitchen, and eventually takes her to his room. Natasha looks around and asks Mark if he brought his girlfriend here to kiss her. Mark is confused, but Natasha reassures him that she has experience and can help him. When Mark tells her they are now cousins, Natasha disagrees and warns him that her mother is not a good person and will ruin Fima's life. Mark is upset by Natasha's words about her mother. Later that night, Mark goes to the call center. The next day, when his mother asks about the job, Mark tells her he doesn't like it. Bella then asks him to stay with Natasha so that Fima and Zina can spend more time together and make their marriage work. Later, Mark goes to Fima's apartment where Zina welcomes him and asks him to keep her daughter happy. Zina mentions that Natasha has been acting strangely from the start, but she believes Mark can help her since Natasha likes him. Zina takes him to Natasha's room, but when Natasha looks at her mother, she grabs Mark's hand and leads him out of the house while Zina yells at her. Natasha tells Mark that she doesn't want to stay with her mother, so Mark takes her to Rufus's house. Rufus seems interested in Natasha, but Mark tells him to control his feelings as Natasha is only 14 years old. Mark meets his friends, takes the drug packages, and then takes Natasha to a hotel before finally taking her home. Natasha says she will visit him tomorrow and leaves. During lunch with his father, Roman asks Mark again about his job. Mark tells him that Bella assigned him to take care of Natasha. Roman doesn't like the idea because he knows things can get worse between the kids since they are both young, but Bella asks him to stay quiet. When asked, Mark tells his father that he has decided to take Natasha to an art gallery and show her other interesting things. Later, Natasha comes to see Mark while he is reading a book. Mark welcomes her, and when Natasha gets bored, she asks about the book he's reading and requests a translation into Russian. She laughs after listening to the book. Natasha then questions why Mark reads things that everyone already knows. After that, Mark lends his cousin's bike to Natasha and allows her to use it whenever they go out. Mark meets his friend again, gets the package, and when they try to annoy Natasha, Mark leaves with her. Mark hides the money from his parents in his room and takes Natasha to the garden. Natasha assures him that she won't tell his parents and asks how much money he makes from delivering the drugs. Mark tells her that he can earn enough money by working during the summer, but this job gives him more free time to do things like reading books. Natasha mentions that she wants to try smoking weed because all her friends in Moscow drank alcohol, and she never had a chance to smoke before. They end up having sex because Mark couldn't resist his cousin. Natasha helps Bella with dinner, and after they serve the meal, Roman asks Natasha about her dreams, making fun of Mark and saying that hard-working people have many opportunities in Canada. Natasha tells him that she likes designing clothes and has created some for her friends in Russia. Bella adds that she used to enjoy sewing before marrying Roman, but now she only mends her husband's and son's torn pants and shirts. Afterward, Mark and his parents accompany Natasha back home, and Bella is very impressed by her. The next day, Natasha meets Mark again, and he tells her that he has arranged some weed for her because she wants to try it. Mark prepares a cigarette for her and lets her smoke a little. Natasha says she feels like her heart is flying and wonders how Mark can read after smoking weed. Natasha asks to use Mark's laptop for her Facebook update, and he allows it, but she discovers a porn video playing on his laptop. Mark feels very embarrassed, but Natasha sits next to him with his laptop and shows him her nude pictures, mentioning that she used to work for someone. Natasha undresses while showing him her bold pictures, pressuring him to get intimate with her. After they finish, Natasha tells Mark that she has worked on videos for a director who took them to a fancy house in Moscow called Dacha. Their videos were made for wealthy clients from the West, and occasionally, the clients would visit the dacha to be with the desired girl. Mark and Natasha continue to spend time together, exploring different places, and their relationship becomes stronger. They are seen making love in various locations. One night, Mark takes Natasha to Rufus's party, and when Rufus tries to get closer to Natasha, Mark feels jealous but doesn't say anything. They leave the party and continue to make love whenever and wherever they can. Afterward, Mark and Natasha return home, and Bella tells Natasha that she will have to stay with them because her parents are away for the weekend. Natasha enjoys staying with them, and Mark helps his mother set up a bed for Natasha. While everyone is asleep, Natasha comes into Mark's room, but they quickly leave because they could get in trouble if someone finds them together. Natasha reveals that her mother has been treating Mark's uncle unfairly, disrespecting him in his own home and making him sleep on the couch. Zina also talks to her ex-husband and lies to him while pretending to talk to her mother. Natasha reveals that she wants to stay with them because she's tired of her mother's lies. She also mentions that she has told Fima the truth about her mother, which is why they went on a trip together. When asked, Mark explains that his uncle has been treated like a child his whole life, so he might have agreed to the trip. The next day, Fima and Zina return, and Zina tells Bella all the details of their trip during dinner. She shows off the hat she bought for her husband. When Bella mentions that Natasha has been very well behaved, Zina says that everyone behaves well at other people's houses. This angers Natasha, and she attacks her mother when Zina mentions that she knows about her affair with Mark and that's why Natasha wants to stay with them. Natasha tries to attack her mother with a knife, but Bella calms her down and tells her to leave their house. Mark and his family watch as Natasha leaves with her parents. Mark texts Natasha to meet him the next day, but she doesn't come or reply to his texts. Mark becomes worried and doesn't know what to do. One day, he meets Rufus, who is meeting with some engineers about building a pool. After Rufus is finished, he talks to Mark and asks about Natasha. Mark tells him that she is with her mother, and he has been accused of something unnatural with Natasha. Rufus says that this society is based on unnatural acts, as Adam and Eve's children came from a brother and sister. Mark explains that he can't use that argument to convince his mother. Mark leaves and goes to Natasha's apartment, but her mother apologizes to him for what happened at their home. She asks him to stay away from Natasha, saying that the environment in Russia has influenced her in a bad way and that she is very sick. Mark returns home, and at midnight, he hears a knock on his window. It's Natasha outside. Mark meets her and asks her what is happening. Natasha tells him that she has left her mother's house and ended her marriage because she can't let her mother be happy while disrespecting Fima. Mark asks her to come inside his house, but Natasha refuses. She asks him to go with her to Florida to meet a businessman who once visited her at the dacha and promised to get her a job. Mark scolds her for believing the man and insists she goes back inside the house. Natasha spends the night in Mark's room, but he wakes her up before dawn and returns her things outside the house, indirectly asking her to leave. Mark feels sad as he watches Natasha go, but he can't do anything for her. In the morning, Roman's parents come to their house and are worried about Fima showing up at their door, saying his marriage is over but not explaining what happened. Later, Fima visits Roman and Bella and talks about his situation, mentioning the historical events of Palestine and Israel. Mark gets confused and doesn't really understand what Fima is trying to say. After everyone leaves, Roman tells Bella that Fima has always been strange, and they can't help him with this. Afterward, Mark leaves on his bike and spends time feeling sad. He receives a call from Rufus, but he ignores it and goes to enjoy the new pool at his house. Rufus is upset with Mark's presence and leads him outside. He gets angry with Mark for not answering his call or replying to his texts. While leaving, Mark sees Natasha and gets angry at Rufus for hiding her. Rufus tells him that Natasha was the reason he kicked him out and that Natasha hates Mark because she feels betrayed. Mark says he thought she was in Florida. Suddenly, Natasha arrives and keeps staring at Mark. Mark becomes furious and goes back home. The movie ends as he looks into his room through the same window where Natasha used to see him. Thank you for watching our recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.